welcome to this week's episode, this year's episode.
Yep.
Welcome to phase 2. Nope. Welcome to part 2. Nope. Welcome to season 2.
Season 2
of the Attempted Optimism podcast, where we are just trying our absolute very best and actually succeeding this year. I'm Justin.
And I'm Ben. Welcome back to anybody who is going to be watching this, listening to this.
Are you still here?
It has been, it's obviously been a long time, but I want to go on the record on this first episode of season 2 of the Attempted Optimism podcast and say, we specifically told you there was a chance you would not get another episode of the podcast until after Christmas. We told you. Or
is that on the, is that warning on the episode that we didn't release from last year?
I don't know. That's a good point, actually. So I might have just lied. We're officially back. It's obviously now January. I think the last episode we put out was,
praise God,
was like early November, maybe. It's been wild for both of us. So what we're gonna do in this podcast is just simply catch up. I mean, obviously we can start at the very obvious, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. And that is, we were doing Salvation Army Christmas.
We were doing hot girl stuff.
Stop that. Salvation Army, Salvation Army Angel Tree. I mean, we were, if you don't know, the Salvation Army, a big part of what we do as far as fundraising goes is all during the Christmas season. So we are running Red Kettles. We're used to doing Angel Tree, which is a big toy drive for seniors and children. So that takes up all of our time. I know it takes more of Justin's time than my time, because he lives in a bigger city, bigger town. So he has more responsibility, I would say. And I just have kids. So it probably evens out. But yeah, so that was a huge part of why we obviously found no time to record. And it wasn't because we didn't have the time. It's just because we were exhausted. And we kind of talked about that. We got to like that first Sunday of our kettle season.
We can't do this anymore.
And we basically were like, we could record because we have the time and the ability to, but we were so tired that we knew it would be not a fruitful adventure. So yeah, that was what a major chunk of our time and resources and effort was being put into. And then the other reason why we would have never been able to record is Justin's side of the story. So we'll talk a little bit about what you've been doing in the December month. It was December, right? And we can talk about everybody's favorite topic of 2020, COVID-19. Roll the clip.
COVID-19.
Wait, there's not a
I
clip.
blow the wind of God on you.
Please don't blow any wind on me.
Kenneth Copeland, go check out the video.
I've seen the video.
It's hilarious.
Yep.
So yeah, I did we ever talk about my kidney stone in November?
I mean, we never talked about it on the podcast. Obviously, I knew you had a kidney stone. Yep.
Within a month, like a 30-day period, I got a kidney stone and went to the hospital. And before that month was like going into the end of December, I got COVID.
Yes.
Yay!
You did. Yeah.
So that was an experience, some of which I remember.
Some of which you don't.
It was kind of, a lot of which I don't, probably for the best, but it was a lot of it was kind of, I feel like I know, which is really weird because I feel like with the way things were going and us having to work, being an essential worker, and I'm around a homeless population every day who, by the way, none of them have gotten sick.
Really?
That's remarkable.
That's impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge issue right now in the country.
Yeah. So they, at the office, we've been doing a really good job making sure people wearing masks, making sure people are sanitizing, doing everything we can, staying out of other people's offices. I actually do think I know where I got it from. I was at the mall and I was getting a Secret Santa gift for somebody.
Wow.
And for one of my staff members, which I still can't give them that gift. And the
COVID.
Yeah, it was some chocolates and things like that, like sort of really nice wrapped chocolates and things. And the the guy that was running the shop didn't have a mask on, and he
Mm.
got right in my face
Yeah.
and just, and I had my mask on obviously, and I was doing the best I could sanitizing my hands, but once somebody's breathing
Yeah,
on you,
they
it's all
talk
over your
about
clothes.
percentages and stuff, and it like cuts in half your
Yeah,
ability to not get COVID if the other person's not wearing a mask, which obviously makes sense because it's
yeah,
there's two of
that's
you
what
and
masks
yeah,
are for, is
yeah,
to not give it to somebody else.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I got it there. It was kind of weird. I didn't think anything of it, didn't get super defensive or anything. That next day I started to feel real achy.
Mm-hmm.
That evening of the next day, which was a Sunday, we had
Yeah.
church in person and
Yep.
everything. That was the last time we had church in person until today,
Wow.
a month and a half later. And I'm pretty sure I started to decline pretty quickly. Sunday
Yeah, I
evening,
remember that.
I had a really bad
Yep.
fever, and at that point, that's probably the last thing I really remember. Honestly, I looking back at it, I have small little windows of memory, and
Mm.
other than that, my wife has explained things to me. Like she said, pretty quickly. I think Sunday evening when I started running a fever, I went into the guest bedroom,
Yep.
and so at that point, we were just masks in the house. She went
Yeah.
and disinfected everything Monday. We went and took the tests and everything. She tested negative, and thank God she stayed negative, which means she must have been busting tail to make sure
Yeah, she must have been
everything
staying
stayed wiped
super
down.
clean. Yeah, super
Yeah,
clean.
she did a great job while also making sure I had everything I needed,
Yeah.
making sure I took my meds and everything. I started to respond to the treatments. Basically, they just gave me a bunch of meds
Okay.
because the doctor came back in the room and he said, really, I would like to admit you
Yeah.
and put you on oxygen. I can't.
Man.
There's no rooms. And he said, we checked Houston, we checked
Yeah.
Corpus Christi, we checked all over the place. Galveston, no rooms anywhere.
Wow.
And yeah, it was kind of weird because they were just like, here's an inhaler,
Yeah.
and that was all they could
Good
do.
luck,
And
buddy.
yeah, basically. And so
If you feel
so
any
yeah,
more
it
like
was
you're dying, come on back.
yeah, well, in
Yeah.
fact, that's what he said is,
Yeah.
um, you know, if it starts getting real bad, you just need to get an ambulance to
Yeah.
get you here,
Yep.
and don't play around guessing. And so for probably the next 4 or 5 days, it was just bad,
Yeah. I mean, it's
bad,
crazy to think about like what has happened between the last podcast and this podcast. Like
a lot.
Christmas has happened, the New Year has happened, an election has happened. I
A
mean, it's like
terrorist attack has
a
happened.
terrorist attack has happened. I mean, it's
That's a
been
whole separate issue.
yeah, that's a different podcast. But I mean, it's insane to think about like the events that have gone ahead while life has just been going. Because I got you get very used to like every week sitting down to talk about whatever we decide for that week, and it's like almost a catch
Yeah.
up moment for the week. And it's been like months since we've done it, so it's a
Mhm.
weird it's weird getting back into it. But so yeah, I can't say that I had anything as exciting as you had. If you want to label COVID as exciting, of course I've been getting used to the two kid life.
Mhm. Those
Yeah.
those kids look nearly identical. It is
See, okay, so
bizarre.
let's talk about that because you've brought open a whole thing. I 100% agree with you. I think my children look exactly the same. My
Yeah, year
wife
to year,
though,
like comparison of them being
yeah,
at the same
my
age, right?
wife cannot see it. She just doesn't think they look alike at
Okay.
all, which is really fascinating because like we talk to a lot of people and almost everybody we talk to is like, "Oh, your kids look just alike." But for her, they look very different. They look very much alike to me.
Yeah.
But I mean now she's 3 months old. I mean that's how many
That's a
that's how
lot of
long it's
growth, man.
yeah, it's crazy. And of course it's been challenging. I mean, two kids is different. It's very different. Oliver's had to learn to like that he doesn't get all of our attention, and of
Mhm.
course we're more tired, so it's that much more difficult to like to sit down and want to play cars for 4 hours. It's like I don't want to play monster trucks with you for 4 hours, but as a parent, that's what I'm meant to be doing. We were very fortunate; none of us got COVID, which is
Yeah.
really, I mean, crazy when you think about it. Other than that, I can't really pinpoint anything like crazy.
Before
Back
you get
into
into that,
yeah.
what was the because I'm kind of interested talking about TikTok. I've seen TikToks where they talk about quarantine babies. and you've got
Yeah,
one.
so we were my
Have you
wife.
looked into that at
No, no,
all?
no. Yeah, so my wife and I were just talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think of it, so like Oliver, he's a little bit older, of course.
Yeah.
When quarantine started,
He's lived life on the
yeah,
outside.
but I mean, you talk about now we're going on almost an entire year. And you know, he knows now when we go to the store, he's got to try to put a mask on. He's not very good at wearing it, but he knows that. He knows we don't go very many places, so he's understanding of that. But Gwen is really interesting
Right.
because, of course, Gwen is legitimately a quarantine baby. And my wife was saying one of the things that she's read a lot about is quarantine babies are incredibly sensitive to
Mm-hmm.
noises, and
Yeah.
movement. And oh my gosh, she is like I everything. Like I close the recliner chair and she'll jump out of her mind. You
What?
know, the cat moves or Oliver makes a loud noise and she like jolts really suddenly. And so
Weird.
that's something we've definitely noticed. But I would guarantee you that Oliver is loud enough and wild enough to get her to
Yeah, he'll
where she
sort it
needs to
out.
be. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, he is I've obviously it's not my term. I've heard it from other parents, but he is a three-nager. I mean, he really thinks that he is in charge of life. The other day, me and him went back and forth of he's trying to get in the fridge, and I said, "You can't do that." He said, "I can." I said, "No, I'm in charge." He said, "No, I'm in charge." I said, "No, you're not. I'm in charge." He said, "No, I'm in charge." I'm like, "I'm not doing this. I'm in
I
charge."
can punch you
Yeah,
across the room.
exactly. I mean, it was just like, it's like arguing with a teenager because he really thinks he's in charge of everything. But
Mm.
I'm sure, but yeah. I mean, that's something we have noticed. It's definitely interesting. I'm sure if my wife was on the podcast, she could tell you more like of those things that go hand in hand with quarantine babies because
Yeah.
that's like an Instagram thing. I'm pretty sure. I know those are like all over Instagram,
Yeah.
which I don't really do unless it's a picture of food. Um,
So
but I,
who does she know? She knows your parents and her parents, your daughter. Who has she met?
um, why is that the hardest question you've ever asked me? Here's what's
Square
crazy.
root
Here's
of
what's
one.
crazy about that question. You asked me that, and my mind could not think of a single person she's met. Just because it's been like, I mean, again, she's now 3 months
Yeah.
old, which is
Yeah.
insane. But it's like I can't remember who came and visited us when the baby was born. I can't
Yeah.
remember. It's insane to me. Like I know that she's gonna obviously go see Charles's parents. I'm pretty sure my mom and dad came. It's hard for me to remember. Like it just seems like
Mm-hmm.
an eternity ago because of course that would have been before Christmas kettles, angel tree, you getting COVID. You know, it's hard for me to remember. I think she's met my parents. But the only significant other thing that's happened that I can really think of is I started Pokemon card collecting again, which is
And
a
you've been
dangerous
quite
habit.
successful.
Dangerous habit. I have been quite successful through great fortune and luck, honestly. But I kind of started getting back into collecting a little bit. And then I found this antique store find, and I bought like 4,000 cards for a great price. And that was really what like put me back into the element because it was like all these cards from when I was a kid,
Mm.
and it brought back like the passion of like it's again another thing I've seen on the internet a lot of. It's like having adult money. The danger of having adult money is that I
Mm-hmm.
can go and get the things that I wanted when I was a kid, and so like that's what I've been doing. So I've been like Pokemon card collecting. The only other thing I was gonna say is I changed my back setup a little bit. I got a new lamp. What?
Oh, I see that.
What? How is this that? It's hard to point opposite. I got a new lamp. It's pretty awesome. I got a little two Pokemon plushes chilling here, and then these are just some manga, Japanese comic books that I've had. They used to be over here on this wall, which you can't see anymore.
But now you have stacks of Pokemon cards over there. I can see.
Yeah, I got tons of Pokemon cards over here. Yeah, you actually can see them. I didn't see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And then I've got more in the closet, but just kind of rearranged my setup for a little bit of nice, brain function. Really, it was just
Trying to catch up to my wicked awesome living room.
yeah. It's
dope.
I mean,
Still decorated.
I'm just really trying to be more like you, and so I had to change my setup up a little bit, to try to compensate for the incredible setup you have. Yeah, so that's really what we've been doing. Nothing crazy, of course. The only other thing I was gonna say I've done is
Nothing crazy, just
got
literally surviving.
just trying to survive. That's what we've been doing. Kind of crazy, dude. Other than that, I've been trying to avoid Facebook, as you know, is my passion. Avoid Facebook because it's dangerous. You have not been. We won't get into
I'm
it.
diving in. I'm going deep.
Yeah, you've gone too far in. In fact, I think in the last 4 weeks, I've told you at least 5 times to stop getting on Facebook, but you don't listen. Anything else you want to talk about? Things you've been doing other than, COVID? I think that took up like most of your time and life.
Well, but that's a good chunk of what I've been doing. No, I think we can wrap up with kind of saying that we kind of discussed it, and we're looking at making a bigger push with
Absolutely.
our YouTube channel slash podcast slash all the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some more guests that we got
Yep.
in the pocket.
Yep.
We got my brother Ryan who's streaming. We just got to figure out what the Monday night stream will be,
Yep.
whether it's a variety of games or whatever. So there's a lot of different things we're going to try to see. I'm desperate. I'm desperate about trying to find more people that can sort of do video type stuff.
Yep.
I am looking for someone of the female persuasion to sort of be that on our channel
Yeah.
because it's not, we just don't want we want to be as inclusive as we possibly can, and we don't just want to be a bunch of guys, especially
Playing
guy officers,
playing video
pastors that
games,
are
doing a
playing video
podcast.
games every
Yep.
night. We
Yep.
want it to be more. We want it to be. We want the network to be more than just a Discord channel where people can play
Yeah,
video games and stuff.
we'd
We
love
want
for you to get
self help, all
if you're
kinds of good
if you're
stuff.
interested, we'd love to get you involved. I mean,
Yeah.
we've already got the YouTube channel established, and we'd love to get more content on there. So if you have something you're passionate about, obviously we'd want to talk about it. We're not just going to be like, go for it kind of a thing. We want to talk
We
about
need
it
to
with
know
you.
you
If you've
a
got
little bit.
TikTok, I know TikTok's huge right now. If
Yeah,
you've got
plug it.
TikTok, follow us on TikTok at Attempt Optimism. I'll put it in the description, the comment section. We've only posted like 5 videos. They're all a little bit different. We've got food, we've got video games, we've got Pokemon cards, we've got our intro, some of our bloopers and things. We'll be posting a lot more on that. Just a more of an inside look of kind of what we do for fun, what the podcast behind the scenes are, some more of the random bloopers from the show that are just we can't put in the show necessarily for time most of the time. But follow us at Attempt Optimism. Again, that's our TikTok. You should be seeing a lot more videos on there. But we want you to get more plugged in. And then one of the other things we've talked about for a long time, I started it originally. I did 3 videos and then took a break. Is more of a faith-based, either Bible study or conversations with other Christians, just a deeper conversation and look at
or just curious
lives.
people.
Yeah. So we would love, if that's your passion. It's obviously our passions because we're both pastors, but we also have a lot of things we do, and we'd love for somebody to help co-host that and be a part of that. So if that's something you're passionate about, you know how to find us. You can leave a comment and tell us, and we'll figure it out together. I've already, I've got a ton of ideas in that realm, just not the time to do it on my own. And so, if that's something you want to do, just let's work together. We want to make this a literal network. I mean, we've had that name, Land Creations Network. Obviously, this is the Attempted Optimism podcast underneath that umbrella. But it is meant to be a network. We want to make this big. We want to make sure we're reaching as many people as we can.
We want to make it
huge. That's
huge.
The throwback to to our former president. May God bless him in his retirement.
Yeah.
But no, that's really where we're at. We hope you'll join us in the journey as we go through 2021, and we really hope that this will be a different year for everybody.
God,
in all
needs to be.
in all aspects, we need this to be a different year. So I'll sign off in a different way. God bless you. Hope to hear you on the next one. We salute you. We'll see you next week for a new episode.